I look out and I say, boy, there's not a lot of people out there, but then there's a lot of people over here, so that's good. That's good. So good morning. My name is Reverend Lori Whittemore. And the service leader today is Reverend Sue, a former minister for the church here. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Saco and Biddeford. We also want to welcome those joining us on YouTube and encourage you to have a candle to light there at home when we light ours in a few minutes. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, we are glad that you're with us here today. The theme for the month of October is deep listening. We invite you to carry that theme with you as you are with us today and into your daily life when you leave here. We commit to be co-stewards of this land and to work towards a world that is just and thriving for the whole of the web of life. We invite you to take your service order with you when you leave today. Please silence your cell phones, and there will be a very fun social hour in the parish hall afterwards, so please join us for coffee.
Good morning and welcome. Our opening words are by the Reverend Lynn Unger. It's fall, and the leaves are breaking their ties. We watch one go down, spiraling like a paper helicopter to the softest of crash landings. This seasonal detachment still seems strange, letting go in this half-sudden, half-anticipated way. It's autumn. The brilliant greens of summer mellow to rust and gold. How can we help but think about the passing of time? The signs are all around us, reminding us that life is change. Beginnings are always followed by endings, and death is a part of life. This is the time of year when many cultures take the time to remember people they love and who have died, to remember that those who have died are still part of the ongoing cycle of life. Today is a day of remembering, a time for remembering and celebrating the lives of loved ones It is sad and somber, and we long for the touch of a hand long turned to dust. But there is something that lives on, something that remains, that cannot die. And so we affirm life as we also grieve. So, in the spirit of Christianity, we will light the pastoral candles of our altar. And then in the spirit of folk and native traditions, we light candles to honor the dead. And you may notice a strange decoration on the altar this morning. Can you see it? Do you know what it is? Well, it was supposed to be a turnip, but turns out it's a rutabaga. Who knew? A rutabaga is actually a cross between a turnip and a cabbage. I learned that yesterday. We light a turnip because the Celtic history of jack-o'-lanterns comes from the story in Ireland where Jack, on the night of Samhain, Halloween, was a very naughty boy. And so he was cursed, and for the rest of his life on Samhain, he roamed the streets where the thin veil between the worlds existed. And to light his way, he carried a turnip. And he was known as Jack of the Lantern. And that's how we have come to have jack-o'-lanterns on Halloween. And so it is with great gratitude that we light the symbols of our different traditions. And soon we will light the chalice, a symbol of our rich Unitarian Universalist tradition that can call upon and celebrate the historical, religious, and cultural influences of great diversity. What a privilege it is to be together today. Please join me in saying our covenant as we light the chalice this morning. This is our great promise, to gather together in peace, to seek the truth in love, to serve human need, so that all shall grow in harmony with the divine. So I know some of you have brought pictures and artifacts of loved ones that you wanted to remember today and have placed them on the altar. If you forgot or didn't know you should bring something, I would invite you to take a piece of paper and a pen. They're available on the bureau, I think, when you walked in. And you, if you would like, can write the name of a person, a pet, someone you have lost and would like to remember. Our opening hymn is number 23, entitled Bring Many Names. And so during that opening hymn, I'd invite you to bring your pieces of paper forward and place them on our altar. Children, do you want to come forward for the story? There's a story today. Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. Just the kids. Kids can come forward. Matt, no. Okay, perfect. Come on forward. You can sit right here in the front. Because this time of year really is a lot about children, isn't it? You can just sit down. So the name of this story is The Little Old Lady Who Was Not Afraid of Anything. Once upon a time, because that's how all good stories start, right? Once upon a time, there was a little old lady who was not afraid of anything. One windy afternoon, the little old lady left her cottage and went for a walk in the forest to collect herbs and spices and nuts and seeds. She walked so long and so far that it started to get dark. There was only a sliver of a moon shining through the night, and the little old lady started to walk home. It was really dark, though. What happens when it's dark and you're in the woods? Is it scary? But she wasn't afraid of anything. But suddenly she stopped. Right in the middle of the path were two big shoes. Come on up. And the shoes went, and I'll need all of you to help. The shoes went clomp, clomp. Just clomp, clomp, 2 times. Get out of my way, you 2 big shoes. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady. On she walked down the path, but behind her she could hear 2 shoes go clomp, clomp. A little farther on, the little old lady stumbled into a pair of pants. Can you hold these pants up for everyone to see? And do you know what the pants did? The pants went wiggle, wiggle. Get out of my way, you pair of pants. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady, and she walked on. But behind her, she could hear 2 shoes go clomp, clomp. 1 pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. And farther still, the little old lady bumped into a shirt. And the shirt went shake, shake. Get out of my way, you silly old shirt. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady, and on she walked a little bit faster. But behind her, she heard 2 shoes go clomp, clomp. 1 pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle. 1 shirt go shake, shake. And a little ways on, the little old lady came upon 2 gloves and a hat. The gloves went clap, clap, and the hat went nod, nod. She said, get out of my way, you 2 gloves and you hat. I'm not afraid of you. On she walked just a little bit faster, but behind her she could hear 2 shoes go clomp, clomp, 1 pair of pants go wiggle, wiggle, 1 shirt go shake, shake, 2 gloves go clap, clap, and 1 hat go nod, nod. By now, the little old lady was walking a little bit faster. She was very near her cottage when she was startled by a very scary, well, maybe not too scary, a very scary orange pumpkin head. And the pumpkin head went boo, boo. This time the little old lady did not stop to talk. She did not stop at all. In fact, she ran, but behind her she could hear 2 shoes go, 1 pair of pants go, 1 shirt go, 2 gloves go, 1 hat go, and one very scary pumpkin head go, boo, boo. The little old lady did not look back. She ran as fast as she could, and she didn't stop to catch her breath until she was safe inside her cottage with the door locked. She sat in her chair by the fire, and she rocked back and forth. It was so quiet in her cottage before she heard knock, knock. Should she answer it? What do you think? No. But she wasn't afraid of anything. So she went to the door and she opened it. And what do you think she saw? She saw 2 shoes go, 1 pair of pants go, 1 shirt go, 2 gloves go, 1 hat go, and 1 scary pumpkin head go. I'm not afraid of you, said the little old lady very bravely. What do you want anyway? We've come to scare you. You can't scare me, she said. I'm the little old lady. What's to become of us, the pumpkin head said, very sadly. If we can't scare you, what are we going to do? So the little old lady had an idea, and she whispered into the pumpkin's ear, and the pumpkin head nodded, and its face seemed to brighten. And the little old lady said, "Good night," and she closed the door and whistled on her way to bed. If you're comfortable, I would invite you all, except the people here for the story, to close your eyes and to pretend that you're asleep, just like the little old lady. Okay? And all of you need to come over here and help me. I need a shirt. And some pants. What do the pants do? Wiggle, wiggle. What do you think's going to happen? No, you think so? I need a hat and a head. This way. Boots. Excellent. Keep your eyes closed. The next morning, when the little old lady woke up, she went to her window and she opened her eyes. She looked out into the garden, and what did she see? She saw 2 shoes go, 1 pair of pants go, 1 shirt say, shake, shake, 2 gloves go, 1 hat go, and 1 pumpkin head go, boo, boo. And it scared all the crows away. Yay! Our reading this morning is entitled Boundlessness by Willie Barber. I lie here in my body bound, and yet my mother's smile, 8 decades gone, is clear and warm. How can this be? She's dead, or so I'm told, these 80 years, and yet my grandniece has 3 dimples in her cheeks. She always hesitates before she speaks, and I see her smile, and I see my great-grandfather, who died before my birth and left no tiny type likeness on this earth. I lie here in my body bound, and yet I feel again the squish of cool spring mud between my toes. I smell again the spice and the cleanliness bequeathed by a wind and a pink rose. I feel again the texture of the trunk of a tree of gray stone wall, and I cringe at shock of ice salt turf, of the glow and the splash and the seagull's call on the ocean. I lie here. I wonder if thoughts have their chromosomes. A seedlet through the worlds and eons roam and brushes by my mind entanglement. In this I call my brain, and inklings of its kerneled truth remain, and I will not be cast out by any mortal doubt. 1 year, it's likely I shall not be in this body bound, and yet the galaxies will whirl in cosmic cadence plain. I know I'll still be part of that without pain. For things of value do not fade and die and end, but blend into the great continuum called God by some, by others left unnamed, lest naming limit and define the endless goals of love.
It's fun to have a partner up here, both with Sue and this unnamed fella or lady. So now is the time in the service where we share our deepest sorrows and our greatest joys. It's not a time for political announcements. If you wish, come forward, light a candle and put it in the sand here. Offer your name and what your joy or sorrow is, and we will hold that up in prayer together.
Hello, I'm Myra, and I have a concern for my mother-in-law, Brenda, who starts her cancer treatment tomorrow morning, and she will be having a full 30 rounds of radiation and 6 weeks of chemo, and she's 86, not very mobile, but otherwise in pretty good health, so your prayers and thoughts were much welcome. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Anna. The big joy this week is the Clarissa windows are going to be illuminated anytime now. And many thanks, Moens, to you and Donna and Betsy for all your help in this project.
I'm lighting a candle of joy today because I have been so fortunate to have been able to be one of the instructors for the Old Orchard Beach High School Marching Band this year. And last night they played their finals show and did an amazing run, and we all won silver medals. So really grateful.
My name's Matt, and I'm just thinking today of particularly of all the people that we've lost over the years in our lives. And then my mind immediately went to our oldest daughter, who is not dead, but we are missing terribly. She's been out of our lives since May in an abusive relationship. And that's all I'll say now, but we miss her and our 2 grandchildren terribly. We have not seen them since May.
Good morning, I'm Betsy, and Donna and I lit this candle for our cousin Barb, who last weekend ended up in the emergency room and 3 days later had open heart surgery. She seems to be doing well at this point in time. Prayers and healing thoughts are welcome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nikki. 2 things. A great joy is having Sue back in our pulpit. That's just lovely. And the other is, as some of you know, I am beginning to learn American Sign Language. And if you'd like, I'll sign Spirit of Life. And maybe next week, maybe I'll teach people next week. I'll try to teach the congregation. And it's great because I'm able to communicate with a cousin of mine who's profoundly deaf, and we've never been able to communicate in this way. And she is very patient with me, and I think I've caused her some moments of great humor. So, and it also helps with the work that I do at St. Joe's. There are people there that often request interpreters, and so I'm trying my few rudimentary signs, and they're pretty patient with me. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Donna, and I just wanted to say how wonderful it is to have Sarah Wells back with us, recovering from her knee replacement.
I would like to say thank you to this congregation. People are wonderful. I could never have gotten this recent surgery without your help. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I'd like to say a joy and concern for my dog, Ludo, who many of you may have met if you attended my wedding, who likes to sometimes come down for B&G. And last week, somehow somebody left an open door. I don't know who, I'm not pointing fingers, but he decided to take a stroll down Main Street. And if you've met him, you know that he also wears a diaper, like a belly band that usually has very baby animal prints on him. So he went out and naturally lifted his leg. So then he's walking down Main Street in a full diaper. and people are calling animal control, and they're like, this wild animal needs to be caught. I think he just went naturally towards the food down there. But thankfully, he wasn't hit. He was fine. We found him down by Vic and Wits, probably just looking to get a sandwich, so glad he's okay.
Hi, I just want to express publicly how thankful I am to be invited and welcomed here. And I'm really thankful that my friends in the back have come with me, and my partner is now searching for truth and love with me. And I thank all of you for allowing me and helping me along this journey. And I just wanted to express that.
So I'm going to light a couple of candles for things that remain in our hearts that we weren't able to express this morning. I'm going to light a candle for all the new faces that are here. It brings me great joy to see you. And I'm going to light a candle for all the folks who I've seen over the years who always bring me joy. So 3 candles this morning. And that includes Sue, by the way. That remain unsaid, new friends and faces, and old friends and faces.
As we join with each other today in this space, we are at the intersection of ancient traditions and modern beliefs and practices, where we say that the veil between the worlds is the thinnest. Today we honor Samhain, Dia de los Muertos, All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day, each unique expressions of love, of remembrance, and of the celebration of life. Samhain, celebrated by our Celtic ancestors, marks the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter. It's a time to honor the dead, to remember those who came before us. The flickering candles, the warmth of bonfires, big bonfires to burn all those leaves and branches, remind us of our ancestors even in the darkest of times, we can connect somehow with the spirit world. Dia de los Muertos, celebrated mostly in Mexico, but in other parts of Latin and South America, celebrate with vibrant colors, joyous gatherings. It reminds us that death is not an end, but a continuation of the stories. It's a time to tell stories and cook delicious food from families and eat and celebrate. It's a celebration of life when families come together. Altars are adorned with marigolds and pictures and favorite foods and trinkets or remembrances of the past, and graves are decorated. It's a whole day, weekend, sometimes week-long celebration. And of course, in our Roman and Anglican traditions, we celebrate All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day, that invite us to reflect on our own lives and the lives of those who we've lost. It encourages us to remember the saints, and I would add the saints both ordinary and extraordinary. Those people that we remember in our lives who have shaped who we have become. And we acknowledge those folks that we miss as well. All these traditions and more distinct weave together this common thread that we are all human, all fragile, and we have that desire within us to both remember and to celebrate, to connect. It reminds us that grief and joy can coexist. It's important that in a service like this, we tell a story, that we celebrate children and the joy of a Halloween season. Lori and I were picking out pumpkins yesterday, and it was easy to go back and to remember those times with families where you visited the farm in the pumpkin patch and the kids toddled through the rows of pumpkins, picking up the biggest ones they could find, and in Lori's case, the most crazy and disfigured ones for some reason, I don't know. Those rituals of picking apples and that closure of the time of fall. Our grief and our joy can coexist. It reminds us also this time that we are never truly alone. As Unitarian Universalists, we have the privilege of celebrating the diversity of all of these practices. We can light the candles of those that we have lost, for those we have lost. We create altars and rituals. We share the stories of our families, of our grandparents and sisters and brothers and moms and dads. Tell our children. We participate in gatherings and rituals, and in doing so, we create a space to be together in community in a way that's healing and uplifting to life. So as we find ourselves in this season of reflection, and for someone who now lives where it's warmer, it's the season of impending doom for me. Just know it's going to get colder and colder. The shadows come. But it is often in these shadows and these darkest times that we find our greatest growth. Just as the earth prepares for winter, we too can use this time for introspection, renewal. We get to slow down. We get to pause a little bit before the rush of Thanksgiving and Christmas. What stories do you hear from your ancestors and families? What can we learn from the lessons of people who have gone before us? In these quiet moments, I invite you to listen to the whispers. The whispers. How is death present for you today? It's hard to believe, but this week marks the year anniversary of the mass shootings in Lewiston. How is death present for you today? Peter Morales, who was a former president of the UUA, said, "The dead don't die. They live on." He said, "I'm not just speaking in metaphor, metaphysically or theologically. I'm talking about the very real stuff of memory, history, molecular biology. Look in the mirror. The DNA of your ancestors is alive in you. If you have children or grandchildren, look at them. You see yourself and your children and your family in your ancestry, like our reading this morning. You can't help notice the grandparents that live in your grandchildren. Think of the decisions made by your parents and grandparents, for better and worse. We live with them, right? The choices that shaped your lives and the choices that we make every day that shape our lives and those who will come after us. The interconnectedness of our lives stretches across generations. Today, I embody this body. I am here. Tomorrow or later, I may not be. But part of my being lives on in my children and those that I may have touched in just some small way. All of today's rituals, candles and jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins and gourds and stories and trick-or-treating, even Charlie Brown's vigil of the great pumpkin, are dedicated to remembering. By inviting and recognizing the spirits of our ancestors, we get to remember our roots. Remember where we came from and who we are. We remember that we belong to the human family, separate from the traditions that we grew up in. We can relate. I never went to the pumpkin patch with Lori, but I remembered those moments in my own life with my kids and in my childhood. Remembering serves a purpose. It helps orient us into a humanity. And it makes it so we can't really be that angry with each other or opposed. It connects us. We can extend that remembering, that human connection that we feel, the commonalities of our rituals, to hearts that go beyond us as well. Because in this season of remembrance, we are called to be the light for others. We can reach out to those who are grieving. And as I know that you are amazing, you share a meal, you help someone who was just in the hospital, you reach out, you make the phone call, you say, "Hey, I missed you at church this morning. What's going on?" That's how we connect in love. Together, we create a community that honors each one of our individual stories that's not so different from your own. The joys, the sorrows, the love that's expressed in the candles. It invites us into a circle of remembrance and recognition and reminds us of how we are all interconnected. In this season of horrible political disconnection, it reminds us that the essence of our being is human and we are not so different from one another. I'd like to invite us into a time of prayer and reflection. Halloween is the night when the veil is thin that divides the world. It is the new year in the time of the year's death, when the harvest is gathered and the fields lie fallow. That night, the king of the waning year will sail over the sunless sea, becoming the sea and its own rebirth. The mysterious gates of life and death are opened, and to us, to the living, is revealed the mystery that every ending is yet a new beginning. We meet in time and out of time, everywhere and nowhere, here and there, to greet the Lord of death, who is also the Lord of life, and the goddess, who, like the seasons and the earth itself, is the circle of rebirth. So in the great spirit of the Celtic tradition of Samhain and the Latin traditions of the Day of the Dead and the Roman and Anglican traditions of All Saints' Day, I'd invite you in this moment to reflect, to think about those folks who have come before that you wish to remember, those people who have died, or the animals in your life that have died, especially this year. And in this moment, I'd invite you to speak out loud their names, because what we remember lives.
Marcel, Colette. David Correa.
In Spanish, we say presente. What is remembered, who is remembered, lives on. I'd invite you into our responsive reading, which Lori will lead us in, number 720.
In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them.
In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them.
In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them.
In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them.
In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them.
In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them.
When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them.
When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them.
When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them.
So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
Will you stand as you're able and join me in singing hymn number 336, All My Memories of Love. Please be seated. Now is the time in the service where we collect an offering. Our offering goes to support the work of the church within these four walls, and we always share our plate with organizations doing really good and important work outside of the church. I don't have the words in front of me. If you are joining us online, there is a give button on the webpage. You can use that, or you can mail checks to UUCSB, 60 School Street, Saco, Maine, 04072. This morning's offering will now be received. remain standing and join me in the words to extinguishing our chalice. As we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow sparks in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always. And remain standing and join me in singing hymn number 96.
Our closing words are from the mouths of a spider, because who more appropriate than a spider on this day? Charlotte said, "You have been my friend. That in itself is a tremendous thing. I wove my webs for you because I liked you. After all, what's a life anyway? We're born, we live a little while, we die. A spider's life can't help being something of a mess with all this trapping and eating of flies. By helping you, perhaps I was trying to lift up my life a trifle. Heaven knows anyone's life can stand a little of that. May the spirit of love guide us, the memories of our ancestors inspire us, and the warmth of community sustain us all as we go in peace."
Our service has now concluded. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've been delighted to have you. I need to let you know that there will be a safety plan meeting in 2 weeks, right? Where we'll share, is it the 10th of November? Yep, so we will share our sanctuary safety plan. So please be here, and it'll happen in the sanctuary afterwards. Also, we'd really love you to join us for fellowship today, introduce yourselves, and eat good food. And the service is concluded. Please remain seated for the postlude. was very short.